الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. جزاكم الله خيرا for joining our 15th Sirah lesson, the second to last lesson of our Sirah course. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow me to deliver it to the best of my ability and reward everyone immensely for joining this course. So last lesson, last lesson we went over how the Prophet ﷺ, he was giving da'wah in the days of Hajj, and how the people of Yathrib, now known as Madinatul Munawwarah, how six men came and they accepted Islam, and the following year they came back with 12 men, and this time the Prophet ﷺ sent Mus'ab bin Umair and Abdullah ibn Maktoum to go and help preach Islam in Medina. And the year later, they came back with over 70 Muslims, and they made a pledge with the Prophet ﷺ that we will look after you in Medina. Okay, Medina is the best place for you to come now to migrate. So everyone started migrating. The only ones that were left in Makkah were the Prophet ﷺ. He didn't migrate because previously another prophet, Prophet Yunus alayhi salam, he migrated, he left his town without the permission of Allah, and Allah was not happy, and a storm came and he was swallowed by a whale for 40 days. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh didn't migrate because he was going to accompany the Prophet ﷺ in migration. Ali radiallahu anh didn't migrate because the Prophet ﷺ had left two tasks for him, which we will speak about in our next week's lesson. One of them being the Prophet wanted to return all the goods. So people would trust the Prophet with their money, their jewelry and everything. The Prophet wanted to return that back. And second task was to sleep on the Prophet's bed. We will speak about that inshallah in our next lesson, which is our last lesson of our Surah course. Which brings us to our next slide, today's first slide. That why was Medina chosen out of all cities, out of all countries and cities and places, towns? Why Medina? The first point is the Prophet ﷺ, he saw dreams, just like before he became a prophet. Just like before he became a prophet, he would see dreams that would become a reality. Likewise, he saw a dream of date palm trees, and we know that Medina is a city full of date palm trees. Medina is a city where there's so much abundance of dates. He saw the land of Medina. In his dream, he saw the land of Medina. So you might ask, how did he know how Medina looked? He knew how Medina looked because in the night journey, when the Prophet ﷺ was 50 years old, we covered, I think, 2 lessons ago, the Prophet ﷺ in the night journey, al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, he stopped by Medina. So Medina was the first place him and Jibreel alayhi salam, they stopped. And the Prophet ﷺ, he performed 2 rak'at. And Jibreel alayhi salam said to the Prophet ﷺ that one day you would come here, one day you will migrate to this place, to this holy land. So the Prophet ﷺ saw his dreams, and this pushed him closer to migrating to Medina. And the people of Medina, as we know, the Aus and Khazraj, who were originally from Yemen, these 2 tribes I spoke about in the last lesson, that they would fight a lot amongst each other until they reconciled and they forgave each other's shortcomings, and together they were known as Ansar. They were originally from Yemen. They had excellent characteristics. They were amazing people. Now, if we look at the Sahaba, who are the Sahaba? How can someone be classed as a Sahabi? Sahabi is the singular and Sahaba is the plural. We know that the Sahaba are the companions of our beloved Prophet ﷺ. But how does someone become a Sahabi? How does someone become a companion of the Prophet ﷺ? To be a companion, you have to accept Islam at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. You have to be able to see the Prophet ﷺ with the naked eye, and you have to leave this world upon Islam. So if someone like us, we're Muslims, but we haven't seen the Prophet ﷺ with our naked eye, so we can never be a Sahabi. On the other hand, someone was a Muslim, they saw the Prophet ﷺ with the eyes, but they left Islam, they won't be called a Sahabi. So they have to be a Muslim, they have to see the Prophet ﷺ with the naked eye, and they have to leave this world as a Muslim. Then you will be classed as a Sahabi. So remember, Sahabi is singular, one companion, and Sahaba is plural, many companions. Now, what is the rank of the Sahaba? Who are the best of companions? Yeah, I will say 7 ranks. So I would say 7 ranks. Do take a note of them. I will repeat them. So the first and the highest in status from all the companions are the 4 khulafa, the 4 caliphs. The 4 companions who became a caliph, who became a leader after the demise of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the 4 khulafa, they're known to be khulafa rashidin. The first one is Abu Bakr radiallahu an, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's best friend, the man who accompanied the Prophet sallallahu when he was migrating to Medina. We'll learn about that inshallah in our next lesson. He's the only person the Prophet ﷺ couldn't repay back. The Prophet ﷺ said, I've repaid back everyone on this earth. The only person I couldn't repay back for their work and their help towards me is Abu Bakr. Allah will repay him back. Second is Umar radiallahu anhu. Yes, we know about Umar radiallahu anhu. We spoke about him in our previous lesson, how he accepted Islam. And he also is buried next to the Prophet ﷺ. Third was Uthman bin Affan. He was the son-in-law of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Prophet ﷺ gave one of his daughters to marriage to Uthman radiallahu anh. When she passed away, he gave his second daughter to marriage as well. And the Prophet ﷺ said, after his second daughter passed away, the Prophet ﷺ said, if I had a third daughter, I would have given her to Uthman as well. So he was known as the Nurain, the possessor of 2 lights, because he married 2 of our Prophet ﷺ's daughters. And the fourth was none other than Ali radiallahu anh, one of the Sahabas who stayed back with the Prophet ﷺ, didn't migrate, one of the last to migrate, as he had some tasks to do before he migrated. He was the cousin brother of our beloved Prophet ﷺ, the son of Abu Talib. He stayed with the Prophet ﷺ from a very young age. Okay, the Prophet ﷺ looked after him. As Abu Talib was very poor, the Prophet ﷺ looked after him from a very young age. And he was one of the first to accept Islam as well. He was the son-in-law of the Prophet ﷺ as well. He married Fatima radiallahu anha. So these are the 4 best companions in status. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, Umar radiallahu anh, Uthman radiallahu anh, and Ali radiallahu anh. The second category is the 10 Promised Jannah. So many Sahaba were promised Jannah. Yes, many Sahaba, male and many female Sahaba were promised Jannah. But in one sitting, yes, in one sitting, the Prophet said 10 names. In one sitting, the Prophet said 10 names who are promised Jannah. From these 10, 4 are the Khulafa Rashidin. Yeah, from these 10 are 4 of the Khulafa Rashidin who are Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali. Then there's Talha bin Ubaidillah, there's Zubair bin Awam, Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah, Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, Sa'ad bin Abi Waqas, and Sa'id bin Zayd. These 6 extra ones together, there's 10 who are promised Jannah. They're the second in status. Then the third in status of Sahaba are those who fought in the Battle of Badr. There were roughly 300 to 313 Sahaba companions who fought in the Battle of Badr. They're in the third category. So quickly repeating it. First category were the 4 caliphs, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. Second category were the 10 Promised Jannah, 6 different from the Khulafa Rashidin. The third category were those who fought in the Battle of Badr. Fourth were those who pledged, those from Bay'ah Ridwan, those who pledged, okay, the allegiance with the Prophet ﷺ in the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, okay, to avenge the murder of Hazrat Usman. So a fake news went by that Hazrat Usman was murdered, was killed. Some people, they got together underneath a tree and they made a pledge. Those are the next best Sahaba. Number 5 are those who migrated from Makkah to Medina. Those who migrated from Makkah to Medina are the 5th category. The 6th category are those who accepted Islam before the conquest of Makkah. So before the conquest of Makkah, those who accepted Islam are number 6, because after the conquest of Makkah, it was very easy to accept Islam. Yeah, before the conquest of Makkah, it was tough. There were hardships, there were persecutions. Okay, people went through lots of suffering. After the conquest of Makkah, yes, it was easy to become a Muslim. There wasn't much suffering. And number 7 is the Ansar, who we're speaking about now. The reason why I mention all 7 categories is so you understand the Ansar are the seventh most high in status from all the companions. Then comes the next. So quickly, one more time, I'll repeat it before we move on. That from the rank of the Sahaba, the highest was the 4 Khulafa Rashidin, then the 10 Promised Jannah, then those who fought in the Battle of Badr. Number 4 were those who pledged allegiance with the Prophet ﷺ to avenge the murder of Uthman radiallahu anh, even though Uthman radiallahu anh wasn't really murdered at that time. Number 5 were those who migrated from Makkah to Medina. Number 6 are those who accepted Islam before the conquest of Makkah. And number 7 were the Ansar. Now it's possible that some of the companions came in more than one category, yes? But whichever category they were in the highest, he puts them in that category. Now moving on to our third point, blessed with barriers. Medina was a city that was blessed with barriers. It was covered, the full city, most of the city was covered in palm trees. So it was difficult for enemies to attack. If enemies wanted to flank those in Medina, it was very difficult because there's many palm trees that were treated like a barrier. They were treated like a gate that would block enemies from attacking. Moving on to our next subheading is the virtues of Medina. Medina has many virtues. We know that in Medina is our Prophet's masjid. He is buried there along with many other companions. In Medina, the Masjid Nabawi is the second most sacred masjid. The first sacred masjid is the one in Makkah, Masjid al-Haram. The second most sacred masjid is Masjid al-Nabawi in Medina, and the third is Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. The Prophet ﷺ said that praying in my masjid, you will get rewarded for your prayer 1,000 times more than praying anywhere else. The only place where you will get more reward for praying salah is in Makkah, in Masjid al-Haram. In Medina, you get rewarded 1,000 times more than praying anywhere else. The only place that will give you more reward for praying is Makkah. Medina has many blessings. As we know, it was known as Yathrib before. Yes, the city was previously known as Yathrib. Historians, they say that it was known as Yathrib because there was a man who lived there. He was sick. This man was sick, he was ill. And the sickness was thought to be a curse for those who visited. So those who would visit Medina, Yathrib at that time, there was a rumor going around that anyone that would visit, they would get sick as well. And Aisha radiallahu anha said that when we reached Medina, it was the most unhealthy of Allah's lands. So when they migrated from Makkah to Medina, Medina was the most unhealthy of Allah's lands. And then the Prophet ﷺ came in and the city became the greenest of lands, fresh, okay? It wasn't unhealthy anymore. And the name changed from Yathrib to Madinatul Munawwarah, the enlightened, the illuminated city. For the only reason it became that was because of the Prophet ﷺ, because the Prophet migrated from Makkah to Medina. This is a city where the Dajjal cannot enter, as we know that the Dajjal would go around the full world. In 40 days, the Dajjal will go around the full earth. He would go from country to country, city to city, but he will not be allowed to go to Medina. So the Dajjal will go everywhere just before the Day of Judgment. The Dajjal will go everywhere, from city to city, from country to country, from town to town, in 40 days. From the 40 days, the first day will feel like a complete year. The first day will be stretched to like a complete year. The second day will be stretched to a complete month. The third day will be like a week, and the remaining 37 days will be normal 37 days. The only two places that the Dajjal cannot enter is Makkah and Medina. Why? Because angels will be guarding the entrances of Makkah and Medina. They will not allow the Dajjal to enter. We know what Dajjal is. I'm not going to go into detail, but Dajjal is a man who will come closer to the Day of Judgment, who will try to trick people into believing in him. He is one of the trials and tribulations that every single prophet that was sent by Allah, they warned the nation against. Isa alayhi salam will come and he would kill Dajjal. The story is for another time. We will not be covering the full story in this lesson. So these were the virtues of Medina. There are many, many more virtues of Medina. The Prophet said Medina is a sanctuary. Okay? That trees should not be cut in Medina. And many, many ahadith speak about Medina. Another name of Medina, the Prophet said, is 𝕂𝕐𝕐. So the reason why the Prophet chose Medina was because of the dreams and how excellent these Ansar were. They were so giving, they were so welcoming, they were so hospitable. It was blessed with barriers and the many, many virtues of Medina. And moving on to our next slide, the blessings of the Ansar. Now this Ansar, the Prophet said, the sign of faith is love of the Ansar, and the sign of hypocrisy is the hatred of the Ansar. So to be a complete believer, we need to love the Ansar. We need to love them. These helpers were not normal people. They were so giving. They opened the arms up and they welcomed our beloved Prophet Muhammad in. They took the responsibility of looking after our beloved Prophet Muhammad and his companions. They put themselves and their family under threat. Those disbelievers of Makkah could have easily come to Medina and could have attacked the Ansar. They put everything aside just to welcome our beloved Prophet in. They made Medina homely. They made Medina open. They opened the arms up for those who migrated. They knew that migrating from Makkah to Medina was difficult for the Prophet. They knew it was difficult for the companions. So they all gave their houses up. They shared the houses. They shared the jobs. They shared their wealth. Yes, they done so much for the beloved Prophet. Hence why the Prophet said the sign of faith is love of the Ansar. We should love the Ansar. We should learn about them. And the sign of hypocrisy is the hatred of Ansar. Once an Ansari woman accompanied by a son of hers came to Allah's Messenger, sallallahu Allah's Messenger spoke to her and said twice, "By him in whose hand my life is, you are the most beloved people to me." The Prophet saying to this Ansari woman that he's taking an oath that by him, referring to Allah, in whose hand my life is, you are the most beloved people to me. Because when one city kicked him out and he had nowhere to go to, remember he went to Ta'if and they pelted him from head to toe. Ansar and Medina opened the arms up for him. The Prophet said to the Ansar, "After me you will see others given preference to you, so be patient till you meet me, and your promised place of meeting will be the house." The Prophet saying to the Ansar that after me you will see others given preference to you, so be patient till you meet me, and your promised place of meeting will be the house. The Prophet saying that the Ansar, they have been promised that they will meet the Prophet in the Hawd Kawthar, the fountain of abundance that was given to the Prophet ﷺ. We read the Surah 𝕂𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒, that the Prophet ﷺ was given a fountain from Allah. This fountain is not a normal fountain. It's not a normal river. Its water is sweeter than honey and whiter than milk. And anyone who was to drink from this fountain, they will never feel thirsty again. It will quench their thirst for a lifetime. The Prophet ﷺ will stand by this hawd on the Day of Judgment. People will come. He says in the hadith that there will be many cups, just like the stars in the sky, there will be many cups in this fountain. The Prophet ﷺ is waiting to give water to his followers. How would he recognize his followers? By the actions, by the wudu we do. When we perform wudu and we stay in the state of wudu on the Day of Judgment, our limbs of wudu will be shining. Because only the Prophet Muhammad's nation perform wudu and no other nation, the person would be able to recognize his people, his nation. He would call some people and they would drink from the water, and some people Allah will say, "Oh Muhammad, turn him or turn her away," because they never used you as a role model in this life. They used others as role models. They used to follow others. They used to follow celebrities. They used to follow this football player. They used to follow this person and that person, and they didn't care about you. They didn't follow the sunnah. For them, it was just a sunnah. You know, people say it's just a sunnah. You don't have to do it. We need to follow and hold on to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Like I mentioned in our previous lesson, if we keep saying it's just a sunnah, it's just a sunnah, you don't have to perform it, you don't have to pray the sunnah, you don't have to do it, it's just a sunnah, it's not compulsory, it's not fard. What will our children say? Slowly, they will fully cut sunnah out. And they'll slowly start cutting fard out. Slowly like this, Islam will be washed away. We might think, oh, that's never going to happen. Yes. But if we were to speak to our ancestors, okay, if we were to ever meet those our great grandparents who are on Islam, who are Muslim, they will be shocked to see how we are living and how we treat this religion. They will be shocked. They wouldn't have believed that this would happen. We will be the same 100 years down the line. If we were alive, we would think, what has happened? So try your best to hold on to the Sunnah. Okay? The Sunnah is something that the Prophet ﷺ practiced. Something he did repeatedly, so it's just not a Sunnah. Yes? We're following the best human being to ever walk on this earth. It's unanimously agreed by everyone, by non-Muslims as well. Non-Muslims have written books, okay, on the most influential people. And they have always put Muhammad ﷺ as the first person. When his sons passed away, when the Prophet's sons passed away, the kuffar, they laughed. The disbelievers, they laughed. And they said, look, we don't have to care about Muhammad anymore. Yes, he's abtar. They say, إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ الْكَوْثَرَ فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ إِنَّ شَانِئَكَ هُوَ الْأَبْتَرُ. They laughed and said, he's abtar. Abtar means your male lineage has been cut off. They said, we don't need to worry about him. When he dies, yes, his Islam will die with him. There's no one to carry on his legacy. His sons are passing away. They're leaving this earth at a very young age. They're leaving this world at a very young age. Who's going to carry his legacy for him? And they kept laughing and laughing and laughing. That's when Allah revealed the surah, إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ الْكَوْثَرَ. Allah gives him, yes, this fountain and many other things in abundance. And today we see that those disbelievers who mocked him and laughed at him, no one remembers them. Everyone remembers our beloved Prophet Muhammad. We say we claim to love him. But if you love him, then we have to follow him. Like we're learning about him, right? If you love someone, the more you learn about them, the more you will love them. And the more you will love them, the more you will follow them. If you are not following them, then you truly do not love them. We say we love the Prophet ﷺ. We can measure our love for him by seeing our actions from the morning till the night. How much do we follow him? When we use the bathroom, are we following him? How he uses the bathroom, how he uses the toilet, how he answers the call of nature. When we do wudu, are we following the way he does wudu? When we pray salah, are we following the way he prays salah? When we eat, are we eating the way he ate? When we drink, are we drinking the way he drank? When we go to sleep and when we wake up, is it the way he went to sleep and is it the way he woke up? When we speak to people, is it the way he spoke to people? When we speak to the younger, when we speak to those younger than us, when we speak to those elder than us, how we treat our wife, how we treat our husband, okay? All of this should be in line with the Prophet. He has taught us everything from A to Z. There's nothing that he has left behind. There's no stone unturned. So try your best to learn about him, and every day try to learn a new sunnah, and try to, whatever you learn about him, any sunnah you learn, try to act upon it. Our next slide is permission being granted for the companions to migrate. So the permission was granted and their companions, they started to migrate. From amongst them, the first were Abu Salama. Abu Salama, like we mentioned briefly in our previous lesson, he was the nursing brother of our beloved Prophet ﷺ. Nursing brother is Abu Salama and the Prophet ﷺ, they drank milk from the same woman. So he was like a milk brother, a nursing brother of our beloved Prophet ﷺ. He was one of the first to migrate. I think he was the first to migrate. I know Mus'ab bin Umair and Abdullah ibn Maktoum, they migrated, okay? They migrated to teach the people of Medina. But after the permission was given, the first to migrate after that, some say it was Abu Salama. And his wife Salama, who later on became the wife of our beloved Prophet ﷺ, Salama, later on, after many years, she became the wife of our beloved Prophet ﷺ as well. That Abu Salama, he had to migrate alone, without his wife and his son, Salama. They didn't allow his wife and his son to accompany him in his travel, so he traveled and he migrated alone. For one full entire year, his wife Salama, she would come to the outskirts of Makkah and she would cry. She would cry because she would be without her husband every day for one entire year, until one of her uncles, someone felt really bad, had some pity on her, and they said, you know what, let her migrate as well. And they told her to migrate alone. No one helped her migrate, and she, with her son, they migrated. And she met her husband, Abu Salama. We know the story of Suhaib, that he was already a slave. In his days in Mecca, he would be told to wear an armor and left in the heat. He would be whipped from head to toe. For hours and hours, he's inside the armor. The armor is roasting his back, his body. Imagine how hot. We find it very difficult to wear clothes in that heat, to walk in that heat. Imagine he's in armor, in metal. He's roasting away. They would leave him there. When he's about to migrate, they say, you can't migrate. Every penny you earned in Mecca, yes, you have to give us every single penny or we won't let you migrate. He gave everything away. Yes, he just wanted freedom so he can come to Medina. He didn't care about a single penny. For him, freedom was more important. And the story of Umar ibn Khattab, we know that everyone migrated secretly, and Umar doesn't like migrating secretly, doesn't like doing anything secretly. He was out and loud, he would speak out at all times. Even when he accepted Islam, he went and told the person who was known to be a news spreader that, go and spread the news. Go and tell everyone that Umar has accepted Islam. Yes? I don't want to do things secretly. I want to publicize whatever I do. So same thing, Umar, before he migrated, he said, I'm not going to migrate secretly. I want everyone to know that I'm migrating. So I told the people, come fight me. If you want to stop me from migrating, come fight me. But remember, if you want your children to become orphans and your wife to become widows, then you will have the courage to come fight me. No one had the courage. We know that Prophet ﷺ and Abu Bakr and Ali, they remained as they had duties to do, and the helpless, they remain. Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu, he prepared 2 camels instead of 1. One was for him and one was for our beloved Prophet ﷺ. And the last slide for today, the Quraysh, they held that meeting in Darul Nadwa we spoke about last lesson. And when they held this meeting in Darul Nadwa, all the leaders got together, and an old man, he walked in, someone that they didn't know. They asked him, "Who are you?" He referred to himself as Sheikh al-Najd, the Sheikh of a place called Najd. And he told them, "What is your plans? Yes, has left your hands now. There's nothing you can do." From one call, because Islam started, yes, from one call. The Prophet Islam, it's only been 13 years, and he was saying to them that you're letting this slip away. In a matter of 13 years, this man, Muhammad, has totally taken Islam from strength to strength, and you are letting him slip away. And now is the last thing. Once he goes away, it's too late. There's no way you can stop Islam now. Everyone has tried to migrate. There's only one way. You have to stop this man. So people suggested that we need to leave him in a desert. The old man said, "No, that's not a good idea." They said uh, we need to chain him up. They said it's not a good idea. Until Abu Jahl said, "We need to kill him. Not just kill him, but we need to get a young man from every tribe that will attack him together. When he does die, no one will take the blame because everyone attacked him, right? Everyone attacked him, so no one can end up taking the blame." The old man liked this idea, and this old man was none other than Shaitan, Iblis. So that was the plan, that they would get a young man from every tribe, and they would make these young men stand outside the Prophet's house. When the Prophet left in the morning for prayer, they will attack him. This is why the Prophet did told Ali not to leave. He told him, you're gonna sleep on my bed. I have two tasks for you. From the two tasks, one of the tasks is I want you to sleep on my bed. So when they do come to attack, yes, they will find you in the bed. We will speak about this story inshallah in our next lesson. So when they came up with this plan, Allah SWT revealed a verse. Allah revealed this verse in Surah Anfal, verse number 30. Allah says, وَإِذْ يَمْكُرُ بِكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لِيُثْبِتُوكَ أَوْ يَقْتُلُوكَ أَوْ يُخْرِجُوكَ وَيَمْكُرُونَ وَيَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. Allah says, O Muhammad, when the disbelievers schemed against you to imprison you, kill you or exile you, exile meaning drive you out of Makkah. وَيَمْكُرُونَ, they plan, وَيَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ, and Allah plans. وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ, and Allah is the best of planners. That they plan to kill you. Yes, but how will they kill you if Allah had planned differently? If Allah had planned differently, then how would they kill you? This happens in our life as well. Sometimes we plan to do things, but Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planners. We can never ever think that whatever Allah has done, yes, is not the best decision for you. We can never go against Allah's wisdom. We don't know. Sometimes we might not see the fruits of Allah's wisdom now. We probably planned to do something and Allah changed it. Allah wanted to do it differently. We might not understand it now, but we'll surely understand it later. We might not understand it now, but surely we will definitely understand it later. And remember this, that Allah is the best of planners. This brings us to the end of our lesson. Next lesson will be our last lesson of Sirah. We'll speak about the Prophet, how he migrated to Medina with Abu Bakr, and exactly what happened, how these young men, they wanted to kill the Prophet. Okay, we'll speak about his time in the cave, exactly what happened, and who supported the Prophet in migrating to Medina. Do you have any question before we finish this lesson off? Have any questions? Okay, then inshallah. We'll leave it till then, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.